Hi, I'm Teresa Chang.
Hi, I'm Marianne McCara.
Hi, I'm Felicia Grant Cummings.
Hi, I'm Kim Johnson with Moms Navigating Autism. Hi, I'm Kim Johnson.
Hi, I'm Marianne McCara.
Hi, I'm Teresa Chang.
Welcome to Moms Navigating Autism.
So what about New Year's, guys?
New Year's. Oh, New Year's is very quiet. The boys go to sleep. We stay up.
I can't even stay up anymore.
I mean, we'll stay up till the New Year comes in, and then we, head off to bed.
That's kind of hard because that's like a big holiday that a lot of my friends or people want to celebrate with their families. So to have a babysitter or somebody that, because with our children, you can't just have a babysitter. It has to be somebody that can handle special needs and do that. It's not like we can hire a teenager or somebody like that to watch them. It has to be somebody that's not having a life and doing something on their own to come watch.
Right.
That's a difficult time to have somebody watch.
For years, my husband and I, we just didn't go anywhere. We did not go anywhere. If I went someplace, my husband would stay home. If he went someplace, I would stay home.
Right.
And we did get some respite and some rehab, but it wasn't designed so that we could, leave and go out. We would still be there while these services were being provided. So.
I mean, I can go out, but again, that's one of the days that is not like, it's not that easy to have somebody come stay.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning, I want to say my son was about, I want to say 8. This place opened, and they had New Year's Eve here. So I'd bring him down here, and then the following year we did the same thing, and it was small. He knew the people here, so he was okay. And then it started to get bigger, and sensory-wise, that wasn't great for him.
Out so well.
So, we took a little break, and then we went somewhere else the following year. And then we ended up having dinner at an Italian restaurant. And then once, but it always has to be the same thing. And because we're on the spectrum, he's on the spectrum, every year he has filet mignon at the same restaurant, and that is his New Year's Eve dinner.
So it's a tradition.
Right. That is his tradition. So he has that. And so every year we go there. And so last year, COVID, we went to dinner, but we didn't stay till midnight because no one was, they weren't having, those were the COVID rules that year. So, he was okay as long as we got to go there. But usually the tradition was we go, we have dinner, we stay, and as soon as it hits midnight, you put the hat, you say Happy New Year, you get in the car, you go home, go to sleep. But last year it was, I think we were home by 9 and we did New Year's Eve at home.
I started to have it at my house then after the first one we had COVID. So I had cousins and sister and them over, but it was fun. It was just a small group. We had a good time, but then COVID happened, so I didn't do it again. So.
Yeah, and then New Year's Day, we just basically did nothing shopping, and then I think that's what it is. But yeah, it's kind of different. But yeah, and I'm actually thinking that this new group that he's joined up with, I think they're doing something New Year's Eve. So I don't know what he's gonna do. Pretty sure, thinking that he's gonna stick with his tradition. But then it's also he likes this group, and now he can't wait to see them. So, well, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, always something new and challenging with the holidays, right?
It definitely is, and then you can't wait for it to be over. Yeah. No, I love the holidays. I just can't wait for it.
I love the holidays too, but I mean, sometimes it feels like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Whether you're cooking or entertaining or shopping or We're trying to make sure that you haven't forgotten something. But in the end, I suppose if the children enjoy it, then that's,
Yeah,
you know,
in the end, yeah, right.
then it's
And-
all worthwhile.
We get a lot of strange looks sometimes with the amount of stuff we take with us. You know, like if you look at my car, I mean, my car is a mess. I know that. But a lot of the stuff is stuff that we might need. Now it seems to be less because, well, now what I do is I say, okay, you're big enough to carry your own
Own
backpack.
bag, yes, your own bag.
So here's your backpack, and put everything you need into it, because I try to make him to be independent, because I know that's what he wants. He doesn't want mom doing things for him. So I have him fill up his backpack with everything he might need. And so he actually does a pretty good job, but what he does is he goes and fills up the car, and then he shuts the door and he says, okay, I put everything I need in there, so I don't have to worry about it.
I found that when our son was young, it was easier to get out and do things and do shopping because he was strapped into that stroller or carriage. Once he was walking, it was a lot harder to do shopping and to go out to public places because he had a tendency to bolt, and, you know, which made me very nervous. But any outing requires a lot of planning. Bringing snacks, bringing extra clothing, bringing water to drink. You just try to anticipate every single need your child might have while you're away from home, so that they don't experience any discomfort or, you know, risk a tantrum.
And it's hard. It's also hard sometimes to explain that to someone else, and so you feel that you need to be there to help head off some of these things. And I think you know, one of the challenges that we had was my daughter was in Girl Scouts, and so where we loved every trip and all the activities that we went to, but sometimes it was harder for other people to recognize, you know, some of the things that I could anticipate, you know. I'm very thankful because she had some really great Girl Scout leaders, and you know, who understood her, but as her mom, I felt that I had to be on site a lot, where other moms had free time total, you know, they would just drop off, and I would be like, no, you know, I'm just gonna hang around, or, you know, can I sign up for that trip too, because I just want to know, because it could be anything, you know, like you said, sometimes it's sound, sometimes it's lighting, you know, if a place was too dim, she wouldn't go. Sound from like automatic toilets, you know, would just bother her and set her off and cause her to panic because it was just very distressful to her. And, you know, I would know and anticipate that, and anybody else would just be like, okay, let's all go. And then you have this kid who doesn't want to go to the bathroom, but she really has to go. But she wouldn't want to go in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it you know, it becomes, you know, just that thinking ahead, you know, what rest stops have automatic flush, you know, bathrooms, which ones when you're traveling, which ones don't, you know,
Right.
how to
Exactly.
anticipate that, you know. I think I was sharing with you on the phone one day,
Yeah.
Teresa, talking about sticky notes. I would put sticky notes on the automatic toilet so that the sensor wouldn't go off. You know, you talked about
Right.
thinking outside the box.
Right, it is.
You know,
we have to stay creative.
yeah.
and think.
So to this day, she carries sticky notes because it's just an easy fix. She can put it over,
Oh, and she does it herself.
and
so
she can do it
knows she might
herself.
be
You
right.
know, at this point
Yeah, because
now.
at this point they want to be independent.
Yeah.
You know, but as they get older, they want to. I think that no matter what's where on the spectrum they lie, they do want to do things on their own. But you know, and sometimes it's harder for us moms to let go a little, and it's hard for me too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, and I was one of those moms. You know, let me. You know, can I go on that trip? Or Cub Scouts. You guys ask me why. You know, how is it that I get involved in stuff? Yes, I don't know how to say no to people, but you know, they had. There was no Cub Scout pack left in our town, so we reopened one of the packs, which in turn happens to be the same pack that my father-in-law ran. So we ended up, it was very strange, we ended up with girls and boys because the parents would say, oh, take our daughter too. So we'd have 30 to 40 kids.
Wow,
I see
that's
that
a
more
lot.
now, though. I do
That's
see that.
Mixing, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this was done before
That,
they did
yeah.
that. But we'd had 30 to 40 kids. We didn't take them to girls camping because we weren't allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But they would show up. We because we don't know how to say no to people, we would pick up those kids and bring those kids back home, and and my son loved it. My son loved it because it had so many kids. But the truth of the matter is, most of the kids in our pack had special needs.
Mm.
And so I had to take the Boy Scout curriculum and adapt it to all levels.
Mm-hmm.
I had a kid that was profound Down syndrome. And so while they were working on their electrical projects, I had them take a flashlight, and it was like one of those really easy, inexpensive flashlights where you take it out and the batteries come out and the thing comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd take that out and he'd take the battery out and they'd help him put it back in and put the flashlight back together, and that was his electrical,
Mm-hmm. For his level, it was
right, for his level.
scaled
It
to
was,
him.
because I didn't feel that it was right to keep him separated. I mean, he felt that he was doing the same thing, but we did it at his level.
Mm-hmm.
The other kids, they did a whole bunch of, different, depending on their levels. And we would break the groups up to 5 or 6 groups, and depending on how many we had that week, but that's what I would modify the curriculum to all different levels so that they could work on a project. And then we were getting all the kids in from other parts of the county. And at this point, my son had already been out of Cub Scouts 3 years. And here we were, we still had the pack.
Yeah.
And again, we didn't know. But then they closed the Catholic school that it was associated with, and that was it. We shut down the pack because we really couldn't continue on.
But you know what? You were a blessing to those other children also, because you were helping to modify a curriculum for them that made it accessible for them.
Right. Yeah.
And they they were still able to participate within the Scouts, but it was at their level.
Right. That's what I felt that they all needed to do.
Well, the special needs classrooms, like out of district, a lot of them are like that. It's by each child's needs and their capability. So there's all different levels within, like, my son's class is 811. So within the 8 children that are in the class, there's all different levels. Mm-hmm. There's kids that could read and speak, and then there's my son who doesn't talk and can't read, and he points to things. But it's, again, the classroom is adapted to each person to be able to participate and be included with what they do.
Boy Scouts of America. Did you know? The first Chief Scout Executive James E. West had a disability. James West was born with tuberculosis and was crippled with one leg being shorter than the other. Today, Scouts with disabilities have opportunities to camp, hike, and take part in other unit activities based on their capabilities and safety. Autism parents learn to effectively minimize meltdowns by recognizing events and actions that can trigger their autism child. That can lead to a meltdown. They try to meet things head-on before things erupt and turn into a full-fledged tantrum, especially in public. So there will be less stress and anxiety for the parent and the child.
When I'm going to take him, do I have all the videos with me? Do I have a backup video player that's charged? Where's the door? Are there stairs?
Like a military
it's like
expedition.
I have to know exactly what what's gonna happen when we go.
Absolutely.
He doesn't know. He's just like, hey, I'm out, you know.
Right,
And he's in a good mood where everything's good to go. But you have to I have everything, the snack, you know, like everything with me. So like a baby almost, because you have to have change of clothes, you know.
All of
You have
the
to have
things.
everything with you. You know,
You know-
if we're gonna go out, like we're gonna do an autism walk this weekend, so I'm gonna make sure I have backup video players, extra DVDs, his juice, you know, everything. You know, headphones in case it's too noisy. You have to like
Yeah.
prepare for everything.
Everything, yeah.
See, with my son, I know what you're talking about. Because in fact, I just saw on Facebook the other day, it was a picture of a backpack of a man with a huge backpack, an enormous backpack. And the caption was, you know, this is an autism parent. Because he has to have everything with him.
An autism parent's backpack. When autism parents go out, they try to bring whatever their children might need to avoid meltdowns. Parents bring anything from food, drinks, DVD players, DVDs, clothes, batteries, games, books, which might be needed. All this in order to keep their autism child or adult person happy. If you see a person having a meltdown, or a parent trying to calm a child or adult person, don't be judgmental, you do not know what they are going through. A few kind words can go a long way.
I put my son through a lot of research studies down at NYU, down at Columbia, you know, Albert Einstein. And for the most part, I think the hardest was when they drew his blood at Columbia. But he was young, I think he was 5 or 6, and I brought his Elmo with us. And I said,
Whatever
I was
works.
like, here you go, Elmo, here's Elmo.
Mhm.
And then the lady was like, oh, we're going to take Elmo's blood too. So, and so they put a Band-Aid on his arm. They were actually pretty good, but he actually did pretty good with going to the doctors and stuff like that, because he's used to going to research studies for autism. Non-invasive mostly, but you know, actually all of them were non-invasive, but he anything that'll help with autism, I put him through. I really can't talk about blood being drawn, because when I was pregnant, I would scream when I saw the needle coming on that monthly. So
Yes.
I know how they feel.
5 basic types of autism research studies, each designed to answer different kinds of questions. Number 1, case studies. A case study is when research is done on the development of a particular person, group or situation over a period of time. Number 2, correlational studies. A correlational study seeks variables that appear to interact with one another. Number 3, longitudinal studies. Longitudinal studies give information about how people develop over time. Number 4, experimental studies. Experimental studies are controlled, so researchers manipulate one variable to determine its effect on other variables. Number 5, clinical trial studies. A clinical trial is a research study that looks at how a new medical treatment or procedure works on people.
I take him down to a hair cutting place near here, actually a couple towns down, and he's been going there since he was 2, I want to say. And there's a deli next door, and we have a routine. We go to the deli first, we eat, and then we go get the haircut. She has been cutting it. He does not want to get the haircut with the buzzer.
Okay.
So she cuts his hair with the
Scissors.
scissors. And every time, and he'll walk in, he'll say, I want my hair cut. And she'll say, okay, I'm busy right now, but you know, so-and-so can take you. And she'll say, no, I'll wait. And that's what he says, I'll
Right.
wait, you know, and he'll wait for her. You know, and she's been so used to cutting his hair that she knows the minute he comes in, okay, let me get my scissors, you know.
Ready for
But
him.
yeah, and it was funny though, because one day I went in there and I didn't have my son with me, and he and I saw her, there was a child on the chair, there was a man in a chair next to the child, and there was a woman on the other side of the child, and they were holding the child's hands, and she was cutting with the scissors. And then I realized that I actually knew the people. We actually pet sat for the people, and I realized it was their child that was on the spectrum. And you know, so I said to her, "How many people on the spectrum do you actually, whose hair you actually cut?" She goes, "Oh, I get a big amount, and it's always something like this." And I said, "God, I thought my son was." She goes, "No, your son is actually not, you know, as anxious about getting his hair cut as some of these other children." You know, but you know, yeah, it's you know, and I said to her, it's sensory. You know, somebody's touching their hair, it's like their hair is on fire or something, or you're pulling their hair out of their head. That's the way they feel. It's not
Painful to some of them.
painful to them. Yeah.
Getting a haircut can be a traumatic experience for people on the spectrum. Try to find a flexible and patient stylist. Make an appointment when the salon is less busy. Some autism people do not like to have their hair touched due to sensory issues. Instead of washing their hair, ask your stylist to spray their hair with water. Many people with autism are very sensitive to the noise of clippers. So ask your hairdresser to cut their hair with scissors. The quicker the cut, the less anxiety and stress. Be there for your child to help him with whatever crisis he might go through.
You know, we tried to include him in a lot of things. We traveled with him, we cruised with him, but I made sure when he was a baby, he was like 2 years old. It was the first cruise he took, and I made sure he liked to drink water. Sorry, he liked to drink water, but it had to have those pop-up things.
Right, so you could squeeze.
But not all of them fit every bottle. And I didn't know what type of bottled water they were going to have there. So I got a collection of all different ones, and I brought them all with me. And so I sympathize with that.
Tips for traveling with autism people. Airline flights can be challenging for people with autism. Some airlines have a disability assistance center that offer resources for travelers with disabilities. Tip 1. Plan a flight for when your child can sleep on a plane. Tip 2. Visit the airport ahead of time to help your child get used to the crowds, sights and sounds. Tip 3. Talk to your child about the upcoming flight and tell them about what it is like to fly on a plane. Tip 4. Make a list of trip rules and include rewards for good behavior. Tip 5. Incorporate time for snacks, meals and bathroom breaks on the day of travel. Tip 6. Bring items to keep your child entertained.
Thank you, Altis, for providing us with this platform.
And we want to remind everybody that we are mothers. We are not professionals. We're sharing our experiences with you in order to help you raise your autism child.
See you again next week at 4:30.
And don't forget, follow us, like, and subscribe. We'll see you soon.